Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Racha HaKodash. Double honors to the elder apostles as well as the elder bishops who labored to teach us this truth. Salutations to the hopeful elect out there pushing this word in truth, sincerity, and indeed. I'm your brother Patazah from the Great Millstone Chicago branch, coming at you with another real quick, Lord willing, edifying lesson. And this lesson was inspired by this video that I came across, which I'm going to play shortly. And it's just to hammer the point of a biblical marriageable age back in the ancient world. Because see, what you have going on now is people take certain talking points and certain biblical laws, and they juxtapose it to today's modern times and how people view relations and relationships and marriage of today. And the custom back then in the East, because look, the ways of America ain't right. All right. The ways of America are ass backwards and perverse and totally anti-Messiah. OK, but the ways of the East. OK, the Heavenly Father, he didn't make any mistakes when he placed these laws and ordinances in order. All right. And the way people did things back then, it was way more in order than what it is now. OK, and so what happens is when people hear the men of the Lord bring these topics out, they use it as a point of to stir people's emotions, all right, to get them going. So when we say in the Bible, when the scriptures say when a woman gets her flowers or when she gets her menstrual cycle, she's now eligible to be married off to a man. OK, and when people hear that, they automatically, it's automatically red alert, because people are like, well, some women hear that and like, well, I came on my cycle at 11 years old, 12 years old. What do I look like being married off and carrying babies and being married off to some 30-year-old? That's sick, in which we agree. That is sick. But what you're going to find out, and like we've always expressed this, is that due to the chemical imbalance of today, the young ladies, they get their cycle, they get their periods way earlier than what they did in the ancient world. All right, so check it out.
The average girl in America is hitting puberty, which is sexual maturity, 6 years earlier than they were in 1900. We have the earliest puberty rates of any continent in the world. It's age 10 and 10 to 13. This is in large part thought to do because we are literally giving children estrogen with all the plastics we're ingesting, which are xenoestrogens, meaning they are exogenous artificial estrogens, and the pesticides, which can activate the estrogen receptors like atrazine. You can put atrazine, which is a pesticide that we spray about 70 million pounds of in the US every year. It's not legal in Europe, but it's sold to us from international countries.
It's not legal in Europe?
No, you cannot use it. And you put this on a developing male frog embryo and it turns into a female frog. That's how much endocrine disrupting chemical that it is. Average.
See that? Do you see that? This man, Esau Edom, is the goddamn devil. You see that? Okay. So this is why you see a lot of rainbow behavior in a lot of the young men today here in America. And this is why the young girls are reaching sexual maturity. That's why she said it out of her own mouth. When a woman has her cycle, that's another term for sexual maturity. Why? Because if she's having a cycle, she can bear children. But as you can see, she just proved, hey, young women are getting their cycle, 6 years earlier compared to 1900. See? The 1900s. So with that in mind, it's like, well, wait a minute. When Yahweh Shai laid down this foundation, when a woman is of a young marriageable age, that would mean that the average young woman in the ancient world that was being married and having children, they literally were young women. You could literally say the average female back in the ancient world, based upon this information that this Edomite woman just brought out, that would mean they were most likely getting their cycle around 16, between 16 and 18, man. That would make them a young woman. And what, by America's legal standards, the age of consent is 17 here in Illinois. You see? But again, people not registering information and just being driven off their emotions when they hear certain scriptures. All right, it it's like red alert, red alert. These guys are weirdos. No. All right, back in the ancient world, no, this was a common practice because it wasn't common for 10 and 13-year-olds to get their cycle back in the ancient world. All right, I'd say that the based upon the information, yeah, a young marriageable woman a woman would catch her cycle between 16 and 18, man, on average. And that's when they're old enough, they've reached sexual maturity, they can have children, they're old enough to be married off. And more than likely, it was to a young man that was a little bit older than her. Okay? These are just facts. This is the book of Deuteronomy 22 and 8. Because this is that law. This is that ordinance that just gets the people going. It says, if a man find a damsel that is a virgin, which is not betrothed, and lay hold on her. Matter of fact, let's look up that word damsel. Oh, damn, they ain't even got it here. They got virgin. Bathwala, a virgin. Let's check that out. Virgin, okay. Virgin, okay. Pure and unspotted, right? So she hasn't laid with man. And then it goes off. Okay, so we got that. See, they didn't have a definition for damsel. So now I'm interested. Let's see. I'm gonna come back to that Deuteronomy, and then I'm gonna get that Isaiah 7. Right? Damsel was very fair to look upon. Let's see. Okay, talking about Rebecca, right? Let's see if they got that word. Naira, damsel, girl, damsel, female servant, damsel, little girl, of young woman, marriageable young woman. Ooh, a marriageable young woman. Meaning what? She had her flower. Okay, that goes into the boy. So Naira, damsel, of young woman, marriageable young woman, concubine, prostitute. Ooh, damn. So you mean to tell me that they had young women that were into prostitution back then, right? It's the oldest profession. Shit, we just keeping it real. Handmaid, servant. Okay, so that's damsel, right? So we got that. So let's go back to Deuteronomy. Let's go back to Deuteronomy 28. 28, 22. Because that Deuteronomy, was it 28 or was it 22? I'm tripping, y'all. Salakia. It's 22. See, when you go to that Deuteronomy 22nd chapter, people just, they lose their minds, man. All right. It's just, this is This is the ordinance when a man acts out of his lust, right? This is Deuteronomy 22 and 22. If a man be found, Salakia, 23. If a damsel that is a virgin, so if a girl of young marriageable age that is a virgin, right, hasn't slept with a man, be betrothed to a husband, and a man find her in the city and lie with her, meaning if he takes her, right, you shall bring them both out to the gate of that city. You shall stone them with stones that they die. The damsel, because she cried not, being in the city, and the man, because he humbled his neighbor's wife, so shall you put evil away from you. So that's what happens. Hey, if, a dude coerces a woman, he takes her, and she's with it, knowing she's married, they both supposed to get put to death, right? Verse 25. But if a man find a betrothed damsel in the field, so a young marriageable woman that already is betrothed or already has a future husband promised to her, right? It says, and the man force her, meaning he take it, right, and lie with her, then the man only that lay with her shall die. So he's supposed to get put to death, all right, for being a thirsty nigga, It says, but to the damsel shall you do nothing. There is in the damsel no sin worthy of death, for as when a man riseth against his neighbor and slayeth him, even so is the matter. So it was nothing she could do, right? For he found her in the field, and the betrothed damsel cried, and there was none to save her. So this was just a freaky ass nigga. He got put to death, right? Verse 28 is the point. If a man find a damsel, right, a young woman of marriageable age that is a virgin, has not lied with anybody, which is not betrothed, and lay hold on her and lie with her, and they be found. So, hey, he take it, right? He take the cookies, right? Then the man that lay with her shall give to the damsel's father 50 shekels of silver. This is the punishment. This is the punishment. And she shall be his wife because he has humbled her. He may not put her away all his days. So he can't divorce this chick. No matter what, he can't divorce her. Okay. And what, depending on where you research, because it is kind of hard to calculate it. But from what I've seen, which I could be wrong, I could be off. Anybody find any other information? From what I've seen, one shekel of silver back in this ancient time, from what I've seen, it's worth between $80 and $130 in today's money, which is probably even more since that article was written. So let's just say it was, and shit, in today's money with all this inflation, let's just say one shekel of silver in the ancient world, that's probably closer to about $200. But for shits and giggles, right? Let's just say it's $100. Let's just say one shekel of ancient world silver is $100. All right, you times that by 50, that's 5 bands. You see? So in him taking this young woman and laying with her, he now would have to give the father 5 bands, and he can't divorce her. You know what I mean? She could be crazy as hell. She might have an issue. You know what I mean? She might have, goddammit, 12 toes. All right. Who knows? All right. The bitch might just be defective, right? He can't get rid of her. He can't get rid of her. All right. No matter how fat she get, you know what I mean? How crazy she is, how annoying she is. He can't get rid of her. She probably can't cook. You know what I mean? She probably won't be the nicest individual to him. He can't get rid of her now, man. And not only that, he got to cough up 5 bands. So the point I'm saying is, and knowing this is the punishment, this is what deters men. This is what kept men in check. This is what kept men from doing such violations, man. Okay? Committing such acts, because it was costly. And now you're stuck with her. Again, this is the ancient world. He had to provide and protect for the rest of his life, man. You see that? And 2, if you got 5 bands just laying around, you can afford to just cough up 5 bands. You didn't have to go out taking nothing. Okay? That mean that, hey, you got some money. You were a man of substance. Hey, man, women were throwing themselves at you. You didn't have to, you know what I mean, go to such reaches of desperation, man. You didn't have to do any of that, man. Okay? And if you didn't have that money, your ass got put to death. Period. If you didn't have that money, your ass got handled, man. All right? You got dealt with. You better believe it. All right? Matter of fact, Salaki, I ain't gonna say you got put to death, but shit. Most likely, hey, you definitely had to work that off. You definitely had to make that good, you know? So that's just it. That's just it. And matter of fact, I'm gonna go to the book of Isaiah, chapter 7, verse 14. All right? Just to show that back then, young women of marriageable age were dealt with, man. This is Isaiah 7 and 14, right? Because this is the prophecy going into Yahushai and Mary. All right. And this is going to show you that Mary, this is going to be, this is a cut to the so-called Immaculate Conception, which is really the Immaculate Deception, because Joseph and Mary had sex, thus conceiving Yahushai, man. All right. And this is going to show it. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 7, verse 14. Therefore, the Lord himself shall give you a sign. Behold, a virgin shall conceive and bear a son and shall call his name Emmanuel. All right, which basically means God is with us, right? But when people see virgin, it's like, oh, what do you mean? No, Joseph didn't lay with her. She just woke up pregnant, right? The Holy Spirit impregnated her. Nah, man. When you go to that word virgin, you get Ilama. See that? I-la-ma ha. Ilama. Right? It says virgin, young woman of marriageable age. It says maid or newly married. And what? Back then, marriage was consummated by what? Sex. Okay? But that virgin, it wasn't a Bathwala that we saw earlier. It didn't mean untouched. This Ilama, it meant a young woman of marriageable age. And again, a woman
That's a very, very
was
good
of
point.
marriageable
Average
age
girl.
after hitting puberty or sexual maturity. That's when they're of young marriageable age. And back then, women reached young marriageable age at around 16, 17, maybe in some cases 18. Okay? So when Great Millstone brings out the law and we bring out these scriptures, you know, when we say, hey, you know, it's perfectly okay to deal with young women, we don't mean little girls. We're talking about young women, because back then, young women that reached sexual maturity were young women. Not like today now where they're still goddamn adolescents. All right. 10, 11, 12 years old, getting your period because of all the chemicals that they pump in the food, that they spray in the air. Okay. All this chemically induced estrogen has got people's biological clocks out of whack, man. Especially the young women. Okay. So no, we're not sick when we say, hey, it's perfectly and absolutely in order. And God intended for young women to be married, all right, and to conceive at their sexual maturity. Okay? We're not bugged out for saying that, all right? That's how it's supposed to be. It's just because what? Everything is out of course here. I'm going to end it with that. I believe that's Psalms. Yep. This is the book of Psalms 82 and 5. They know not, neither will they understand. They walk on in darkness. All the foundations of the earth are out of course, man. Everything is out of course now. Everything is ass backwards. Okay. Everything is out of whack. All right. And now the whole world's upside down. So when you come with the mindset, the ancient mindset that's from the East, it's going to come off offensive. It's going to come off crazy. It's going to come off sick. because everything is messed up now, man. Because of Esau, you know, he's turned everything upside down, man. And he's fucked everything up. So, Salaki, if I was a little bit all over the place, but I hope this was edifying. All praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Shalom, and Abba.